I'm staying right here. With you.
The moment her fingers wrapped around his hand, Michael felt the world stop. The airport noise faded, the rolling suitcases, the muffled announcements, the footsteps rushing past. All of it disappeared when Hannah's voice trembled behind him. She whispered, soft and fragile, "Don't leave yet." He froze. For a second, he wondered if he had imagined it. But her hand tightened, and when he finally turned, he saw her standing there, breathing hard, eyes shining like she had run through the entire terminal just to reach him. He had never seen her look this vulnerable. Not in the 6 months they had known each other. Not even when she told him about her troubled past. Hannah was strength and fire. But right now, she looked like she was afraid of losing something she finally dared to want. Michael swallowed. "Hannah, why are you here? I told you I was leaving for Chicago tonight. You said it was better this way." She shook her head, breath catching. "I know what I said, but I can't let you go. Not like this." People walked around them, pretending not to stare at the emotional scene unfolding near Gate B12, but anyone could feel the tension thick in the air. Michael held her gaze, trying to understand the storm behind her eyes. 6 months. That was all it had been. Yet every moment with her felt deep, dangerous, and impossible to walk away from. She was 32, with a life filled with responsibility and careful boundaries. He was 24, still figuring himself out, still moving state to state chasing opportunities. Their worlds weren't shaped for each other, and she had reminded him of that almost every week. But she hadn't reminded him tonight. She had chased him. "Hannah, you told me I should focus on my career. You told me I needed distance. You said this was temporary." She lowered her eyes. "I lied." Those words hit him like a punch to the chest. Hannah took a shaky step closer. "I told myself not to fall for you. You're younger. Your life is just beginning, and I've already lived through enough heartbreak. But I kept waiting for my feelings to fade. They didn't." Her voice broke. They got stronger. Michael felt something tighten in his throat. He remembered how they met, an art class in downtown Austin. She taught it on weekends for extra income. He attended because he needed a creative outlet. He was drawn to her strength. She was drawn to his quiet kindness. They tried to stay casual. It never worked. Every week, they grew closer, even when they tried not to. But the age gap hovered like a silent warning, and Hannah convinced herself it would ruin them before they even began. So she pulled back, told him to focus on his future, urged him to leave when the job offer in Chicago came. She thought she was doing the right thing. He thought she didn't care as much as he did. That was why he booked the flight. "Hannah," he whispered, feeling his chest tighten. "Why now? Why wait until I'm walking away?" Her voice was barely audible. "Because I didn't realize what losing you would feel like until I saw you actually going." She lifted her eyes again, full of fear and hope mixed together.
Please,
"If you get
Michael,
on that
don't
plane,
leave.
we'll both regret it. Please stay. Stay with me tonight. Just one more night. Let me say what I should have said weeks ago." Michael looked at her hand still wrapped around his, small, warm, trembling. He knew if he stayed tonight, everything would change. If he left, everything between them would end. And he wasn't sure which path would hurt less. He exhaled slowly, heart pounding. "Hannah," he whispered, "tell me the real reason you came." Her breath hitched. She stepped closer, close enough for him to feel her warmth. "Because," she whispered, "I'm in love with you." Michael's entire world flipped. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. He simply froze, caught between a departure gate and the woman he could no longer pretend to let go of. For a
Michael,
long moment,
I'm
Michael
late.
couldn't speak.
I
The
don't know what to
confession
do.
hung between them,
Hey, look
trembling
at me.
in the space
It's
they
gonna be
shared.
okay.
Hannah stood still, eyes searching his face as if afraid he would turn around and board the plane anyway. He finally whispered, "You love me?" She nodded once, slow and unsure, like she wasn't certain she had the right to say the words out loud. "I tried not to," she murmured. "I tried to keep things simple. I told myself you would meet someone younger, someone who fits your life better. But every time I pushed you away, it felt like I was cutting off something I needed to breathe. She blinked back tears. I didn't want you to see how much you meant to me. Michael felt an ache spread through his chest. For months he had lived in the shadows of her hesitations. He thought she cared, but not enough to fight for him. Not enough to risk anything. And yet here she was, standing in the middle of an airport asking him not to leave. Hannah, he said softly, I never wanted perfect. I just wanted you. She let out a shaky laugh, the kind that carried both relief and disbelief. You're too good to be real sometimes. He squeezed her hand without realizing it. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Her face fell. Because I was scared. You're 24, Michael. You could move anywhere. You have time to build anything. I thought if I held on to you, I'd be holding you back. She paused. And I've been held back before. I didn't want to be that person. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. You weren't holding me back. You were the reason I wanted to stay. Her breath caught. He continued, I applied to that job because I thought we were over. Because you pushed me away so many times I started to believe you didn't want me. Hannah dropped her gaze. I'm sorry. I thought I was protecting both of us. Michael looked around the airport, at the departure board flashing times he no longer cared about. Everything that had felt urgent an hour ago now felt pointless. What do you want from me right now? He asked. She looked up, finally meeting his eyes. I want to talk. I want to be honest. I want to stop running from what I feel. She drew in a trembling breath. Come with me. Not home. Somewhere we can sit and talk without rushing. Where? He asked. There's a small garden outside the terminal, she said. Hardly anyone goes there at night. Please, just give me a little time. If after that you want to get another flight tomorrow, I won't stop you. Her voice was steady, but her hand was still shaking in his. Michael nodded slowly. All right. Relief washed across her face so quickly it almost broke his heart. They walked out of the terminal side by side, not speaking, but not letting go of each other either. When they reached the small outdoor garden, a quiet space with dim lights, a few benches, and the soft hum of traffic in the distance, Hannah sat down and pulled her coat tighter around herself. Michael sat beside her, waiting. She took a deep breath. There's something I never told you. Something important. He stiffened. What is it? She stared ahead, eyes fixed on the empty walkway. The last time I fell in love, it ended in the worst way possible. He left without saying goodbye. One day he was in my life, the next he wasn't. It changed me. It made me afraid to trust anyone again. Michael listened, feeling her voice tremble. I didn't want to feel that pain again, she continued. So when you came along, kind, patient, younger but somehow more steady than anyone I'd met, I panicked. I thought if I admitted how much I cared, I'd lose you the same way. Hannah, Michael said softly, I'm not him. She nodded. I know that. But my heart didn't. She turned toward him fully. I'm trying, Michael. I'm trying to be brave again. That's why I came for you. His chest tightened, emotion rising thick in his throat. And that's not all, she whispered. Michael stared at her, the words echoing in his mind. Hannah didn't move. She sat perfectly still, hands clasped together, bracing herself for his reaction. The garden lights cast a soft glow across her face, showing every bit of fear she had tried to hide. You're late, he whispered. She nodded, eyes never leaving his. 2 weeks. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but I've never been this late before. And the timing, it lines up with that weekend we spent together. She took a shaky breath. I didn't want to tell you until I was sure. But then tonight, when I saw you walking away, I realized I might lose the chance to say anything at all. Michael leaned back on the bench, staring up at the night sky. 1,000 emotions ran through him. Fear, hope, shock, confusion, and a strange sense of calm he didn't expect. Hannah, he said quietly, why didn't you call me the moment you realized? I was terrified, she whispered. I thought it would push you even further away. You're young. You're building a future. The last thing I wanted was to drop something this heavy onto your life. He looked at her again, really looked. She was scared. She was trying to be brave. She was trying to protect him even now. "Do you think I'm the kind of man who would walk away from this?" he asked. She blinked, surprised by the steadiness in his voice. "I didn't know what to think. I didn't want to assume you wanted this." Michael shifted closer. "I don't know what the future looks like right now, but I do know one thing. Running away isn't who I am. Not when it comes to you." Her shoulders sagged, the tension leaving her like she had been holding her breath for days. "I'm not asking you to choose anything right now," she said softly. "I just needed you to know the truth before you disappeared from my life." He reached out, brushing his thumb against her hand. "I'm not disappearing." For the first time since they sat down, she let out a breath that sounded like relief. They fell quiet, the hum of cars in the distance filling the space. After a moment, Michael asked, "How do you feel about all this?" "Not about me. About everything." Her eyes softened. "I'm scared, but I'm not running anymore." She paused, voice trembling. "And if I'm honest, a small part of me is hopeful. Because I care about you more than I ever meant to." Michael felt warmth spread through his chest. "I care about you too, more than I can explain." She swallowed. "Even with everything that comes with me? The age gap? My past? My fears?" He shook his head. "None of that makes me want you less." Her eyes shimmered, and she looked away quickly, hiding the emotion rising inside her. Michael gently lifted her chin so she would meet his gaze. "Tell me what you want, Hannah." She stared at him, breath unsteady, voice barely above a whisper. "I want you to stay. I want us to face whatever comes next together. I want to stop pretending I don't love you." Michael felt something settle inside him, solid, certain. "Then I'm staying." Her lips parted, disbelief flickering across her face. "You're sure?" He nodded. "I'll call the airline in the morning and change my ticket. Chicago isn't going anywhere. But I almost lost you tonight, and I'm not making that mistake again." Tears slipped down her cheeks, and she didn't bother wiping them away. Instead, she leaned forward and wrapped her arms around him, holding him like she had been waiting months to let herself do it. He held her back, closing his eyes, feeling the weight of everything, but also the strange, unexpected peace that came with choosing her. After a long moment, she whispered against his shoulder, "Michael?" "Yeah. If tomorrow we find out I'm actually pregnant, what then?" He pulled back gently, brushing a tear from her cheek. "Then we'll figure it out. Together." A soft, trembling smile formed on her lips, one filled with fear, hope, and a kind of fragile joy.